All right, good evening, everybody. Glad y'all can make it. Sorry we had to cancel last week, but glad y'all come out to join us this evening. So I see we got quite a few people here, so standing room only. So we'll try to make this as quick as possible, but still give y'all some information about the Governor's School program for you all. My name is Josh Bocock. I am the director of Piedmont Governor's School. Have with us tonight some of our instructors. So I'll talk with you all here in a little bit about their classes and what they teach and some different things and stuff as far as that. And then we'll also have a couple of students who will talk to you all a little bit. And then I'll kind of wrap up our program this evening and talk about the application process and how to apply for Piedmont Governor's School. Okay. All right, just to kind of start off, one of the things I always like to kind of start off in talking with parents and prospective students about the Governor's School program is, one of the things in terms of schools and education we think about is preparing kids for the future, and particularly their future jobs. And so one of the things that I was curious about is what are the future jobs that students that are sitting in high school right now are going to be competing for and going after 10 years down the line. And not just in-demand jobs that people want to have, but also jobs that are going to compensate and pay people pretty well. And so I found this article in Business Insider magazine a couple of years ago that listed what they feel are going to be the top jobs in the next 10 years. And one of the things that you see and you notice from this list is just how many jobs require some advanced math or science knowledge. You see a lot of those, everything in there. So we got y'all can come over here. That'll be fine. We're good and everything. So I bring that up when talking about Piedmont Governor's School because that is our forte. That is our strength as a program. We are an advanced math and science program offering college level math and science courses for students. And so that's going to be one of the things that really kind of makes our program different from other programs that your child may have an opportunity to do. And so if your child is thinking about going into a field that requires some advanced math or science knowledge, we are a great program that can help give your child a jump start in that direction and in that pathway. So our mission at Governor's School is to provide students a challenging academic experience. We are an early college program, I like to call us. So when students come to us, they're getting started with their college education right down there with us. We also want to give them that real world experience and see how the content that we provide in our classes applies into these real world settings. We really focus heavily on research in our program. Our students take specific classes geared towards academic research. And so they really kind of learn that process, which comes very handy for students when they go and move on to college a couple of years later. And we also try to apply technology in those things in our courses and what we do as well, so that students learn not only about technology, but how to use technology in the corporation of their learning. So to give you all an overview of the program, we're in our 20th year of operation this year. We operate two campuses, one here at Patrick and Henry Community College and the other campus down the road in Danville at the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research. And so we serve 4 different school divisions, Martinsville and Henry County here at this site, and then Danville and Pennsylvania County at the other site. We are one of 19 different academic year Governor's School programs in the state of Virginia. And every academic year Governor's School program is kind of governed under the kind of same rules and procedures. We're evaluated by the Department of Ed every 3 years to make sure that we're offering a rigorous and challenging academic program for our students. And so that's kind of, if your child decides to come to Piedmont Governor's School, they will be a part of one of 19 different programs across the state. And all academic year programs are different, but ours, like I said, focuses on advanced math, science, and technology. That is our curricular focus here at Piedmont Governor's School at our campus. So to talk a little bit about the structure of Piedmont Governor's School, we are a half-day program. So if your student applies, is selected, and decides to come to Piedmont Governor's School, they will come here to Patrick and Henry Community College first thing in the morning. This is where they'll go when they get up in the morning, hop in a car, hop on a bus, and come here to Patrick Henry with us bright and early in the morning. And these smiley faces will greet them when they arrive. And then they'll attend their first two classes, first and second blocks here at Patrick and Henry, and then go back to Magna Vista or Bassett in the afternoon. Henry County does provide bus transportation if your child needs it. If you're not, don't have a driver's license yet, can't drive themselves back and forth, that's not a worry. It's not a problem. Henry County does provide bus transportation between the college and their base school. The students are enrolled in 4 classes every semester at Piedmont Governor's School. So they take 2 classes on what we call A days and the other 2 classes on B days. And they would just alternate and flip-flop through this throughout the semester. And then this is a 2-year program. So students are enrolled, you apply in the spring of your sophomore year, go through the process, they get selected, you choose to come, and then you're a part of Governor's School for 11th and 12th grade. One of the things that the base school divisions really like me to emphasize in these meetings is that they expect this. If you decide to come to Governor's School, it is expected to be a 2-year commitment. It's not like let me just do this for 1 semester, and if I don't like it, then I'll just drop it and go back to Magna Vista. It doesn't really work that way. When you decide you're going to be a Governor's School student, you're kind of committing for 2 years because Henry County makes a financial investment in students to come here. And so if a student doesn't complete the program, then that just not only does that kind of take away from that investment they've made, but it also took a spot away from a kid that did want to be here as well. So it's kind of a fairness issue as well. So I always like to emphasize that this is a 2-year commitment when you come to Piedmont Governor's School. So just keep that in mind and everything when you're applying. Now, the other thing I like to talk about is outside of this program is that all of the dual enrollment nature of our classes. So being here at Patrick and Henry Community College, it's a great opportunity because all of our classes here are dually enrolled, which means students are earning not just college credit, but also high school credit at the same time through the college. We only have 1 class here at Piedmont Governor's School that isn't dually enrolled, and Ms. King will talk about class in a second. She'll talk about which class that is and all that. But all of our classes, for the most part, are dually enrolled through the college. And students during their 2 years earn between 45 to 48 college credits by the time that their 2 years are done here at Piedmont Governor's School. Now, one other good feature of the Piedmont Governor's School program is that you earn between 45 credit hours at Piedmont Governor's School. But then when you tag on some dual enrollment classes that you can take at your base school, you can also have the opportunity to earn an associate's degree in science from Patrick and Henry Community College as well. And this is something that a lot of our students take advantage of here at Piedmont Governor's School. It's not a requirement. You don't have to get the associate's degree from Patrick and Henry Community College to be a Governor's School student, but it is an option that students have to graduate with that associate's degree. So if you graduate with that associate's degree, that's just one more kind of feather in your cap, as you go on and go away to your 4-year college and everything as well. And so, like I said, in order to get that associate's degree, you do have to take some additional classes at your base school, like history, English in 11th and 12th grade, government, and maybe 1 other class and stuff as well. I think a lot of our students take psychology dual enrollment to satisfy that degree of requirement. But that is something that you have the option to do if you are a Piedmont Governor's School student. All right, I'm going to kind of stop right there for a second, and now I'm going to kind of transition and allow some of our instructors who are here to talk about their particular classes and what they teach and what we offer here at Piedmont Governor's School. So like I said, we offer courses in advanced math and science, but we also have research classes as well. And Ms. Spencer, our research teacher, is here tonight. She'll talk to you all a little bit about research classes. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Ms. King. So she's the one closest to me right here. And she's going to talk to y'all. She's one of our science instructors here. And she's going to talk about her classes that she teaches here at Governor's School.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shannon King. I teach chemistry, physics, and forensic science. And just to upfront let you know, forensic science is the class that you don't get college credit for. And that's because Patrick and Henry Community College doesn't have an equivalence class on campus here that would allow that to correspond with that class and get you that college credit. So that's basically one of your least stressful kind of laid back classes here. It's just kind of an introduction to forensic science. And it incorporates chemistry and biology and physics into that. So it's an application for the other sciences in that class, but it's just a kind of a fun class. It does still carry high school credit as an elective, but it doesn't carry a college credit with it. For chemistry and physics, all juniors take chemistry, and it's not the same chemistry that you have in high school. Most of the time, my juniors will say that the first 6 weeks of class, if you've had chemistry before, you've had everything that you've had in chemistry. So we go more in depth with the topics in those that you've already had possibly at high school, and we continue on with that. So this is a college level chemistry course. It does have a lab that's associated with it. So it's 4 credit hours in the fall, and it's 4 credit hours in the spring. And then as seniors, you have the choice of 2 sciences or 2 maths. As far as the sciences go, physics is one of those choices. And so physics also carries a lab with it. So you have 4 credits in the fall and 4 credits in the spring. So as a junior in chemistry, you have labs and you have classwork and the lecture style and discussion and that sort of thing. And then the same sort of setup for the physics in the spring. Okay. That's everything. Yeah.
I'm Holly Dillon. I teach biology 101, 102. So I will have the, it's a 2-semester class as well. So you take biology 101 first semester, biology 102 second semester. They are 4 credits each. So we do lots of labs, kind of like Shannon does. And mine is the second option that you could have if you are doing the 2 sciences, along with anatomy. You can do anatomy as well. But you take biology 101 first semester, we go through, we cover the basics of what you would have had in biology in high school in 10th grade, but we go into more depth and more detail, just like Shannon said. And then when we go into biology 102, we take it even further. And so we go into more depth with the body systems, we'll go into different types of plants and animals and fungi and all different things and diversification there. So, and I'm the one that travels between the 2 sites. So I'm in Martinsville half the week and I'm in Danville half the week. So I go back and forth.
Hey, good afternoon, evening, it's evening, good evening. I'm Shannon Harrell. I teach math here at the Governor's School. I am one of the 2 math teachers. Ms. Whitaker couldn't be here tonight, so I'll talk about her classes in just a minute. But I have most, if not all, of the juniors in pre-calculus with trigonometry. So you'll take a math placement test as part of your entrance, or your packet. It explains everything, and that will place you in either pre-calculus with trig or in calculus 1. You don't need to feel pressure about it. Just take it. It just allows us to see what you know. But that class is 5 credit hours because it has trig in it. So you don't need to be worried if you haven't taken trig. I tell students that if they've had it, awesome. We'll go more in depth than what they did in their trig class. And if they haven't, awesome, because then I get to teach it to them from scratch. So it's really fun. We do a lot of review in the beginning from Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. And then we, of course, go a lot further in depth, just thinking about problem solving and how that applies to the other classes and just everything in life. I tell them that there's no manual in life. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. Just erase it, try again. I say I need a giant eraser in my life sometimes. But we have a lot of fun. So that's 5 credits. And then I teach seniors if they choose to take statistics. So first semester is statistics 1, it's math 245. That's worth 3 credits. And then if they pass that successfully with a C or better, then they take math 246, which is also 3 credits. So what they're alluding to, senior year, you have more choice. Junior year, your schedule's kind of locked in. You take chemistry, a math, ITE, research, and then Ms. Whitaker's class. But senior year, you can choose. You can either do 2 maths or 2 sciences. So if you're doing a medical route, I would suggest statistics. I found that out after some students graduated and I saw them after the fact. They said, I should have taken statistics with you. So just FYI, I know that's senior year, that's further, but just to let you know. And in statistics, I love teaching that because it's so real world applicable. Projects, students choose their own data collection and then just how to apply it. So I enjoy that class for that aspect. Ms. Whitaker is the other math teacher. She teaches calculus 1, calculus 2, and intro to statistics. So as a junior, every junior takes intro to stats. It's a 3-credit class and it's only 1 semester. So I believe she alternates with this semester. So first semester, you may have intro to stats, or you might have research, and then after Christmas break, you would switch. So it is 3 credits. The goal of that class is to prepare you for your senior research project. So they go through how to collect data, unbiased sampling, what to do with the data, how to organize it, and then actually how to run a hypothesis test. So that's 3 credits. Calc 1, if you test into that, is 6 credits, and you can take that as a junior. If you don't take it as a junior, it's fine, because you can choose to take it as a senior. And then if you do take Calc 1 as a junior, you can take Calc 2 as a senior, and that is 4 credits. So lots of options. It's really fun. We have a great time in math. We really do. So, just let me know if you have questions.
Samantha Spencer. I am the English teacher here, which they try to kind of hide me in the name, but I'm going to petition it to be changed to the Governor's School of Math, Science, Research, and Technology. It is not a typical English class. We're not going to be reading any poetry or novels or anything like that, even though they're dear to my heart. We are a research-focused class. So your junior year, everyone will have me 1 semester, like Ms. Harrell was just saying. I flipped with Ms. Whitaker. So the junior year, you learn basics of research, how to do scholarly research as opposed to just Googling everything, because hopefully we have all learned at this point that Googling things does not really give you good information. So you learn how to do the scholarly stuff. You learn how to do APA formatting and research. Most of you have probably used MLA if you've done any research at your base school yet. If you're going into the math and science fields, you're going to have to use APA. So you definitely need to learn all that. We start learning those basics of technical writing, scientific writing. We do a lot of group projects to kind of get everybody situated with how that research format is going to go. And then it is in preparation for your senior year. Your senior year, you will have me year round. And that is to prepare for your senior research project. At the beginning of the year, you get to pick a topic. Any topic you want, as long as we can do some sort of data collection and you can analyze it, as long as it is, school appropriate and legal. Pretty much anything is on the top on topic. We have, where's Jenny? We had one started with Harry Styles. So, you can get there with whatever you want to write about. You spend 1 semester your senior year doing strictly research, pick your topic and research so that you're an expert on that topic. And then the second semester is writing the actual essay, doing your actual data collection, analyzing it, like Ms. Harrell was saying, with the stats class is to prepare you for that analysis. Then at the end of the second semester, we have our senior symposium, which is where you get to make a fancy presentation into a room like this. And you present your senior research project and you answer questions from judges, but it is my job to prepare you for that. And I already see the terror on your eyes, but don't worry. I am a nice person and I over prepare you to public speak, so it's okay. Am I leaving anything out? I feel like that's about it. Okay, so yeah, that's it.
All right, thank you, Ms. Spencer. So that's just kind of an overview of our classes. You have some information in your folders that kind of goes into, just kind of gives you a brief overview of all the classes we offer here at Piedmont Governor's School that your child, if you do choose to come to us and get selected, can take with us. So now I want to kind of move and talk a little bit about why I feel like this is a really beneficial program and why I feel like that every student here should apply for Piedmont Governor's School, the opportunity to come here. And so when I talk about the benefits of Governor's School, I feel like I'm not the best person to speak on this. So I think the best people to talk about it are our students. And so we do have one student with us here this evening, Ms. Jenny Turner. She is a senior at Bassett and a senior with us at Governor's School. And so she's going to talk to you all a little bit about just Piedmont Governor's School and her experience and what she feels has been beneficial for Governor's School for her. All right, take it away, Jenny.
Like Bocock said, I'm Jenny. Currently this year, I'm taking anatomy, stats, biology, and research because I'm planning on going more towards the medical field now with going into like pathology.
I would say gov school has definitely been beneficial for me because so especially like applying to scholarships, it really like levels up your transcript because I through this program called QuestBridge, it's like a full ride program to about 40 colleges in like the country. And by having this, like the college classes like on my transcript, it allowed me to get a full ride to UVA this year. So it really just like helps like set you apart from other students. And also like with the research class, I know y'all are Magna Vista, but we're in the same county, and I bet it's if you're on the same boat. You will never see a type of research like we do here at your base school. It just ain't happening. And it really just gives you a step ahead of like the other students at your school. Like say like when you go into college, like I'll be like, oh shoot, I already know how to write a real annotated bibliography. My friends, I told them what it was, they were like, what are you talking about? And I was like, but so it's like, and I just found it like really like good to be surrounded by other students who like really like care about their grades and like about like their future with like school. Because like I'm not saying that people at your grade school don't. It's like for people that really want to like step it up and like be like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this the best way I can to get the best like that. I've also had every single teacher at gov school for at least once a semester, and I can say that one of the best teaching staffs I've had. Like I thoroughly enjoyed like every class I have. Like yes, we have every single like days where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so hard. But you like get over it and then you can get it in the end. And also one thing a lot of people are like worried when they're going into gov school is, oh my gosh, I am not gonna have a social life. That is wrong. I played 3 sports in school, a travel sport, I'm in 3 clubs, and I can still make it to almost every single football and basketball game. So like if you're ever worried like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything anymore, you can. You just have to like gov school is like really good, like you being able to like figure out how your time management works. Because you can't just be like, oh, I'm trying to do it in the schoolwork and then be like, oh, I have no social life. That falls on you. So it really like helps you like build like how to like balance school and like outside life. And I just personally find gov school a really good program and I just enjoy it. So yeah, we don't have any questions.
All right, thank you, Jenny. All right. So I promise you, we did not coordinate before this. So, you know, I got a couple of things, you know, and Jenny hit them all. So I'm not going to belabor the point anymore. But like Jenny spoke about, I think one of the biggest things for governor's school, as you talked about, is that preparation for college. Because that's kind of what we're really all about here. We really want, you know, we know by virtue of you just being eligible to apply for governor's school that everyone in this room is planning on going to a 4-year college or university after high school. And so what we're trying to do is prepare students, not just with the academic knowledge, but maybe more importantly with the skills that students need to be successful when they go and leave here and go to a 4-year school. And so, you know, we do believe in challenging students. You know, I don't make any apologies for it. You know, students are going to work when they come here, but it's in a very supportive environment. I do believe that our teachers are very supportive. They understand that students are more than just students. They're athletes. They have, some of them have jobs, some of them work and they do other things. So, but they have that support, but also have that support over here in this room as well with families and stuff as well. It's one of the, I know from my own personal experience, and any of y'all who have gone away to college know this as well. Sometimes it's tough when you're out there on your own and you don't really have that support structure at home. That's one of the good things about governor's school and having kids start that right here, right now. Because yeah, maybe they're 16, 17, 18 years old, but they still got that support structure here that can help them when those times are tough and they're feeling like, oh, this is so tough, I don't know if I can do it, and you know, kind of help guide them through and get them through those rough patches. And we talked a lot about the research. I mean, I can't say this enough. I don't care what you major in college, you're going to have to research. You're going to have to do some kind of research assignment or thing by the time you graduate. And so that's something that our program really helps prepare kids for, when they go all the way to college. The amount of college credit hours is just, I mean, I would say you can't put a price tag on it, but you actually can put a price tag on it. What it could save you and your students, in the long run in terms of college tuition. Most of our classes are transfer very well to 4-year schools and universities. Now, I won't say they'll transfer everywhere. There's a person in another community college that I work with at the other site. She likes to say, I don't guarantee that they'll transfer, but I can't guarantee that they'll transfer. But you do have the option to have them transfer in a lot of places, in a lot of situations, especially if you're planning on staying in the state of Virginia. you're more likely to see the classes that your students take here transfer and go into those colleges that they want to go to. Out of state, it gets a little bit more tricky in terms of community college credits transferring, but but we're seeing more and more out of state schools that will take a dual enrollment credit for transfer. All of these classes are at no cost to parents and students. You don't have to pay a dime for any of our classes here at Piedmont Governor's School. So that's why I say you could put a price tag on, but yeah, you can't put a price tag on what you could save in terms of tuition, not just in what you would save and what Patrick Henry tuition would be, but if you think of it with transfer, what a four-year college tuition would be, which would be a whole lot more. So, the benefit is students could save money and also could potentially finish degrees faster, especially if they are going into a math or science field where a lot of these classes could potentially take the place of classes that would have to take at that four-year college for that degree. So this is, as far as the college credit hours, that's a huge benefit for students long-term in terms of Piedmont Governor's School. And the final thing that Jenny touched upon is just that resume booster. Because when I go to high schools and I talk to students about Governor's School, one of the things that I always tell them is when you start applying for colleges when you're a senior, you're one of thousands of other students that are competing for those very limited spots. And what you start to find is that a lot of students have high GPAs. A lot of students have extracurricular activities. A lot of students have stellar recommendation letters. There's a lot of similarities in students across the board. So you've got to start thinking now, how am I going to set myself apart in the crowded field of college admissions and scholarships and those types of things? And Governor's School is one of several things. It's not the only thing, but it's one of several programs that can set students apart in that. And so, we've had a lot of students. One of the things that I've really been very proud of in our students in the last couple of years that I've been here is how many students have earned, very, very, very tremendous scholarships over the past several years. So we've had, Jenny is a Quest Bridge scholar. She's one of three we've had in the last 2 years that have earned that scholarship, which is really, 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 really awesome. And so, it is, I do feel like there's a lot of opportunities for students due to the Governor's School program. And this is just a kind of a list of some of the different colleges and universities that our students have gone to after they've left us after their senior year of the last couple of years. And one of the things you'll notice is that like every different type of school is on this list. I mean, we're sending kids everywhere. So no matter, I really firmly believe that there's no one college is not better than the other. It's really what's best for you as an individual. You got to find that best fit for you. And so, no matter what you want to do and where you want to go, Governor's School can help get you there. Okay, we can help work with you and help get you where you want to be, where you need to go to meet your goals, going forward academically and in your career. So this is not an exhaustive list, but just an example of where our students have been over the last couple of years. All right, the last thing I just want to mention tonight is just the application process, how to apply for Governor's School. In your folders, there is a handout that talks about the application process and how to apply for Governor's School. So if you forget anything that I get ready to say here in the next couple of minutes, you can go back, reference that sheet that's inside of your folder. But the first step is you got to apply, okay? You can't be considered for admission to Governor's School if you do not apply for Governor's School. And you can apply starting right now, tonight, for Governor's School. All you need to do is you need to go to this website, application.pgsmst.com. Type it into any web browser. It'll take you to this web page. Down at the bottom, there's a little link to begin application process. Click on it, and you start filling it out. It's not a very long application. It'll take you 3 minutes on a bad day to fill it out from beginning to end. We just ask for your name, a parent name, contact information, and then 3 teachers who do recommendations. And I'll talk about that in a second. Okay. So you got to fill out the application, submit it, and then you're done with that first step of applying to Governor's School. The deadline for applying for you all in this room is February 7th. If you do not apply by February 7th, you will not move on to the second step or in the admissions process. So you have to apply to be considered. You all are just eligible to apply. You all are invited to apply. Not every student is eligible to apply for Governor's School. So it's great that you're here at this point, But to get to that next point, you have to apply and say, I am interested in governor's school. I would like to be considered for admission to the governor's school program. So that's the first step, applying online. The second step that I want to mention is make sure that you're meeting Patrick and Henry's dual enrollment requirements. Because even if you are one of the top students and are given admission into governor's school, if you can't take dual enrollment classes next year at Patrick Henry Community College, then you can't come to governor's school. It's not going to work. So there's a couple of important things that I want to point out and note, and this is for any not for any DE classes, but for the DE classes at governor's school, you've got to meet these requirements. First of all, it used to be, Ms. Errol talked about having to take a test. You used to have to take a test and earn a qualified score on that test. It was called the BPT. That has been done away with in the state of Virginia. You no longer have to take a test to be able to take certain dual enrollment classes in the state of Virginia. Now, you've got to have a cumulative GPA of 3.0, which everybody in this room should have. And you have to earn a final grade of at least a C in your Algebra 2 class. So some of you right now may be currently in Algebra 2. You may have just started this class a couple of weeks ago. You need to make sure, that shouldn't be a problem, but just make sure that you come out with a final grade of C, because at least a C. You should come out with a final grade of B or an A, but make sure it's at least a C. Because if you get like a D in Algebra 2, if you're in it right now and you got a D, I'm sorry, you can't come, and you got into governor's school, you can't, I have to rescind your admission to governor's school because you don't meet Patrick Henry's qualification to take our classes here next year. So make sure, if you're in Algebra 2 right now, make sure that you're doing well, turning your homework, doing good on the test, all that good stuff. You have to at least have a C in that Algebra 2 class in order to be able to take our classes here next year. Also, you have to fill out the application to Patrick and Henry. You don't need to do that tonight. You don't need to do that in the next 2 weeks. Trust me. Your Ms. Rohr, who's your college and career coach at Magna Vista, she will hunt you down and find you before the end of the school year and make sure you apply to PH. So don't worry about it. It's not anything you have to do tonight, okay? But I always like to mention that because it is an important step because you have to be enrolled as a student for any dual enrollment class that you take, whether it's with us, at Magna Vista, anything. You have to have it, you have to be enrolled as a student. And then that's the information as far as counselors helping you with that. The third step. So after the application deadline on the 7th, then your counselors at your base schools are going to set up a testing date. We have 4 different assessments that are part of our selection process at governor's school that all applicants to governor's school have to take in order to be considered for admission. If you don't take these assessments, then you're not considered for admission into governor's school. So there's 3 tests. One's the NNAT test. This is what we call an analogies test. There's nothing you can do to study for it. You're given a series of patterns. You have to determine what the final pattern in that series needs to be. It's to determine your spatial reasoning and those types of things that's used very often in gifted assessments. Okay, so that's one test. Can't study for it. Then you're going to be given a math achievement test. You really can't study for this test either because it's basically just asking you some math questions based on classes that you've already been in. You can't use a calculator in it. So if you want to prepare for it, make sure that you know how to do basic arithmetic on a piece of paper without having to punch it into a machine and getting that right answer. Science test, same thing. You can't study for it. It's just a basic science test on content and science classes that you've learned before. It's just looking to see what you know about math and science. It's for a math and science program. Then the final thing that you'll do is what we call a document-based essay. You're going to be given a question, a prompt. You're going to be given some documents pertaining to that, and you have to write a written response based on that, based on the information that you're given. Okay, so it's kind of looking at your ability to just take information, synthesize it, put it down into a short written thing. All 4 of these tests are timed. They're not like take all day type things. Generally, in the schools, when they do the tests, they start first thing in the morning and end up before lunch. So it usually takes about a couple of hours to get through all 4 of them. But each of these tests are combined together to help in the selection and determine the selection process for governor's school. Mr. Porter, the guidance counselor at Magna Vista, will administer these tests. If any of y'all are here from Bassett, Mr. Bird, the 10th grade counselor at Bassett, will do the ones for the Bassett High School students. So as far as what we are looking at in terms of selection criteria, in terms of determining admission, Henry County gets 25 spots for governor's school each year. And this is for Magna, Vista, and Bassett High School combined, 25 spots. All 25 of them come from one school. They could be half and half. Well, 25 doesn't divide evenly, but, you know, actually I knew that off the top of my head. So, okay. But, you know, it could be some kind of number in between, but it's 25 spots. And so students from Magna, Vista, and Bassett are competing for those 25 spots for admission to governor's school. There is a, you know, rubric that we use, and students get points based on all of these different things on here, based on where they fall in those things. So the first thing that we look at is students' unweighted GPA. So whatever your unweighted GPA is on a 4.0 scale, you get points based on that. So the higher your GPA, the more points you get for that. Then your math and science performance scores on those tests, whatever your score is on that, you get points on that rubric. Better you do on the test, the more points you get. Same thing with the NNAT, the essay. And then the final thing that we look at for admissions is 3 teacher recommendations. So when you put in your application, you need to name one math teacher that you've had, one science teacher, then the third teacher is a teacher of your choice. One thing we always say, especially with that teacher of choice, is choose wisely, okay? Because that teacher could be the difference between you being offered a spot to governor's school and not offered a spot to governor's school. So make sure you think when you apply, all right, who is that teacher of choice that I want? We really always advise, especially since y'all just started a new semester, you may not want to ask a teacher that you just walked in the door with in class a couple of weeks ago. Not that they don't like you or anything, they just don't know you. And so some of the questions that they're asked, they may not be able to really answer accurately. And, you know, they may, you know, put you down lower than what you really truly are, what the truth is. So really, really think, you know, don't just put a teacher out there and think, okay, well, yeah, I'll put, you know, Mr. Bocock out there because, you know, what, I mean, he's cool. He'll give me a good score. And then Mr. Bocock's like, I've just had you 2 weeks ago. I don't know how your work habit skills are. I haven't had enough time. We were out all last week. I don't know, you know, and all that. So, you know, so just really, really, really be smart about that and make sure you make that teacher of choice count, because it could be the difference between getting in and not getting in. Okay. So after all this is said and done, when the tests are done, the scores will be compiled together, and then the top 25 scoring students for Henry County will be given a letter offering them a spot to governor's school. And then everyone after that will be given another letter that says they're on the wait list. Now, if you're on the wait list, don't despair and think I'll never get to governor's school, because every year we end up having kids that were on the wait list initially end up coming to governor's school in the end, because those top 25 may decide, yeah, okay, I thought I wanted to come to governor's school, but I decided I want to do something else instead. And that's okay. That happens. Most kids decide they want to come to governor's school instead, but then there's some that don't. And so then we go to the wait list and we keep on filling spots until we fill all 25 spots to governor's school. Okay. So that's kind of how the whole selection application process, it starts and ends right there. So deadline to apply is February 7th. You'll do the testing sometime in February. Mr. Porter hasn't set a firm date yet, because we're waiting to see as far as like how many students apply and how much space that he'll need. So he'll be in communication with applicants with that at that point. Then probably about, you know, it'll take about a month once testing is done to score everything and all that. And then we'll start sending out notifications of whether you're offered admission or on the wait list, probably before spring break, probably end of March is usually when we do that, barring any more weeks out of school due to winter weather and all that. So that's kind of how everything goes from beginning to end. Okay. So that's all the information that I had to share with you all tonight. Does anybody have any specific general questions that y'all wanted that you came having, we didn't have an answer for immediately? I'm sorry? Oh, yeah. In the whole testing process, the admission process, you don't ever put your name on anything. Okay, you're given a number when you start testing, because it's supposed to be an anonymous process. So the scorers don't know who you are when they're scoring your stuff. until the very, very, very end when everything is scored, and they take those numbers and put names to those numbers. So it's a completely anonymous process from beginning to end. Yes.
What time does buses come to base school?
All right. The question was, what time does the buses come to the base school? So our classes here at Governor's School start every morning. Wait for it. Wait for it. 7:45. Woo! Yeah, 7:45. All right. Classes start at 7:45, bright and early. So generally, I don't know 100%, but it's generally around. I can't remember which school it goes to first, but it's one bus that goes to Bassett, Magna, Vista, both. I think what it gets to. Yeah, so I think it's like about 7:05 or something at one school, about 7:15 or 7:20 at the other school, and all that. So I think that's we'll get once students are accepted in the summer, we do a little orientation program in the summer. We'll get all that information for you and let y'all know. Now, don't let that scare y'all when we start classes so early, because we do it so that you have enough time to get back to your regular high school for your afternoon classes and for lunch, because lunch is the most important thing. So that's why we start classes at 7:45, so everyone has enough time to get back to their third block class by 11:40. So there's enough travel time and stuff. And again, for some people this might be a bonus. Governor School students can drive here. You can't drive if you're an ACE. You can't drive if you're in one of the Career Academy program or anything else. In Henry County, this is the only program Henry County allows students to drive back and forth to. So just saying, just throwing it out there. So if you're doing any other program, you got to ride the bus to and from that off-campus program inside. So this is the only program that allows students to drive to. So yes.
How does this differ from just a basic dual enrollment?
All right, so with regular dual enrollment, you're taking dual enrollment classes. But one of the biggest differences I would say is that a lot of these classes that we offer, you can't find at your regular high school. Like you can, I worked in Henry County for 15 years before coming here to Piedmont Governor's School. And I worked in a high school in all of those years. It was very rare we even had a physics class, just a regular high school physics class that we could offer, because there just wasn't enough students that signed up for it. Whereas we have a physics class every year. We've got enough students that take physics every year and can offer that. So the classes that we can offer here at Governor's School, you're probably not going to be able to find at your base high school, just because there's not enough interest at the base high school to make that class, or there's not an instructor or a teacher that's qualified to teach that class. And that's part of why the Governor's School programs are started and why they're shared joint programs, because it's the idea of pulling together resources of different school divisions so that we can offer things to students that it's hard for one single school division or one single high school to be able to do. Now, just your typical regular dual enrollment class and a Governor's School class, there's not a whole lot of difference, because they're all college classes. They're all coming from Patrick Henry. They all have to follow specific curriculum that's set by the VCCS in order to make sure that it's a college class. The one biggest thing, and this kind of goes along with the ACE program too, is ACE program and the Piedmont Governor's School program. Both things can push a student towards earning that associate's degree in high school. Now, you don't have to do that, but if you just stay at your regular high school and just take dual enrollment classes in high school, you're not going to be able to get enough classes and credits in order to earn that associate's degree just there. It's only really through going through one of those two programs where you're going to be able to earn that associate's degree. Now, the associate's degree you earn is different in each program. We offer the associate's degree in science, okay, whereas the ACE program offers it more in like a general studies is what they call it. So it's kind of a, there's more liberal arts classes, like more history, fine arts, those types of things, where we don't really get into that. Ours is strictly math and science. That's what we're focused on in our program. And the degree that we offer is based on that.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
The other thing that I think stands out as well is they're on college campus. For that, they have that transition period going from a high school environment to a college environment. But like I said, it's a transition. So you're here for half a day, and then you're back into that high school environment for the other half of the day before going off to a four-year college, where you're just like, this college environment the whole day. So it's a transition period, and they have supportive college instructors, which which sometimes you get a four-year college, they don't even know your name, your number in class. So that's one of the biggest things I think benefits students for being in the program.
And going back to King, I know for Bassett, for some teachers that do teach dual enrollment, they aren't qualified to teach the college part. So you'll end up having two teachers. One will be online where you'll never see them in person. And so I kind of find like, because I had to do that for my, it was for my English class, English DE 11. It was like language. And I personally found it kind of like disheartening not being able to see the teacher because they give us random assignments and almost none of us would know how to do them half the time. But like here, you only have one teacher. They're fully like certified to teach. Okay. Yeah. And I just personally find it easier because like your work, if you have a Magna teacher and then an online teacher, like they'll be on separate like. One will be on your PH email canvas, and then one will be on the Magna canvas. So it kind of gets like jumbled sometimes. It's like easier to like actually like miss an assignment. So I find it personally a lot more enjoyable just to have it in one big little box myself.
Yeah, and like Jenny said, I don't hire a teacher unless they can teach dual enrollment. If they can't teach here at college, then I don't hire them. So it's all of our teachers, all our instructors are qualified to teach dual enrollment programs. Yes, ma'am.
So if a student is already in the world and they do not get accepted, you know,
Mhm.
if they have to remain, you know, in high school. So what is the point if they will repeat the amount?
It's the same as what it would be. Dual enrollment credit is the same regardless of the whether it's here at Piedmont Governor School or at the base high school, because that college credit is being awarded through Patrick and Henry. It's not being awarded by the school division. It's being awarded by that college that's partnered with them. So it's still the same regardless, whether it's through us or because all those credits are coming through Patrick and Henry. No, does that answer your question?
So say you just do dual enrollment throughout high school, you don't get the opportunity to graduate your associates like you would with like Dustin Rays. Like that's like one thing with it. With just doing dual enrollment at your base school, like you don't get the opportunity to actually graduate with your associates. Like yeah, you have about like the same amount of credits, but you can't technically like graduate with it. But like if you're an ACE or Dell school, you can. But like that's general part.
It's probably just the subject.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything? All right, well, that's all we had. I will stick around for a little bit longer. I know there's some folks out in the hall, and I hope y'all were able to hear and everything. I apologize. But if y'all wanted to stay and ask me a question or ask the teachers a question, we'll stick around for a little bit longer. But thank you all for coming out this evening. Like I said, the application is online now. You can go apply tonight. You've got until the 7th of February to apply, and I wish you all the best. Thank you all so much, and have a great evening.
It's hard to
I was just trying to say, like, oh, I guess I was